Hey, this is Brant with Vintage Statements, and today we've got a nice dresser that we're gonna redo, so follow along. Alright, this is one of those rare finds that you find on Craigslist or OfferUp or whatever search engines you're using. This one was pretty cheap. Now the key to buying some of these, if they're cheap, make sure you're looking it over very carefully. Sometimes it's missing tracks or there's something hidden in it. Maybe the frame of the doors are all busted up and probably been re-glued a million times so it looks junky. So make sure you're still looking them through. Don't get caught up in the price. If it was like 20 bucks and you're like, oh my gosh, this is such a great deal, there might be an issue behind it. But for this one, we're actually pretty good. We have one little piece missing here, one of these little boxes here, and so I'm going to try to make something that'll fit there. All the hardware here is here. This one's just in the drawer, it fell out, so I'm going to put it all back together. So today what we're going to do is we're going to remove the hardware. We're going to check all the subframes again, make sure everything's nice and tight, sand it down, we'll paint it, and we'll get this thing transformed into a pretty cool new modern piece. Haven't picked a color yet, but we'll get there. So let's start by removing some of the hardware. Alright, so we've got all the drawers out. Now we got to work on this little patch right here. So looks like it's 2 inches by 2 inches and a fourth. I've got some leftover backing board here. So what we're going to do is just take a sliver off this and maybe do two. So we'll just do a sliver here and do 2 or 3 of that size to build it out to see how big it's going to have to be. And then we'll glue it together. We'll sand it down, make sure it's all smooth and looking good, and then we'll glue it to the piece. So let's get started. Alright, so what we did is we cut a little piece, very thin, and we've taken it and we just cut it twice, and we created our little block here. Now I've got it clamped up, it's getting glued together. We'll sand the edges down, make it nice and smooth, and then it'll fit into this spot here, which we'll glue in once we're done sanding. So from here, I got my DeWalt sander. I'm going to use some 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to start sanding this piece down. A lot of this stuff is going to be hand sanded. The doors, drawers, things like that are going to have to be a little bit hand sanded, but that won't take too long. So the top's a little rough, we'll sand that out. And well, we're going to keep the inside of this drawer natural. There's not any damage to it, so we're going to leave it, which means the 2 drawers and this frame right here isn't going to get sanded down. So let's get started. Alright, we've vacuumed it, we've wiped it down, and now we're ready to start painting. So we're going to do the drawers twice. We'll do the, where are they at? Right here. Fronts and sides, but not the backs. We're going to, we got it taped off just like the inside here, because we're going to leave that a natural. So we'll do all that twice. We'll get all this moved off. We'll start doing the frame. And work our way around. It should take us less than 2 hours, hopefully. It's quite hot out, so we're going to use small brush strokes to make sure it doesn't glob up or dry off before we need it to. So let's begin. We're going to use our Behr Prime and Paint, and I had a brush around here, but we're going to use the wedge brush. to get this started. So, all right, here we go. All right, painted twice. It's hot out, but we got one more step to do. Now you can skip this step if you wanted to leave it solid, which most people will want to, but I'm gonna add a little scuff to it, give it a little vintage look. Not much on this piece. I really like how it came out, so we're just gonna scuff up little edges here and there, and then we can go to waxing. So let's get started. We're using the old sandpaper that we had to sand the piece down, and well, we'll use it again. Let's get started. Alright, let's add a little paste to it. Behr paste to finishing, it's natural. Got an old rag in here. Just go over the piece real quick, and then we can start putting that hardware on. Alright, here it is completed. We had to build a few things on here, but you can't even tell now, which makes it an even better feeling for an end product here. We used a Blackout Black in Eggshell by Behr prime and paint. And then we left the inside nice and natural, give it a little bit of a characteristic to it. And then we went through and just scuffed up just the edges of it and gives it a little bit of a pop. So I'm pretty pleased with it. The handles, the hardware really makes this thing even pop more. This should sell pretty quick. If you like this project and many of our others, subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook and Instagram, and well, we'll keep trying to do some cool projects like this, but let us know what you think about this.